Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time you're watching. That's the beauty of podcasts. And welcome in to Touchdown in Paradise here on the Fins Talk Sports Network. I'm Justin.
I'm Russ.
I'm Pete.
And No Show Joe is back this week, as in, no, he's not here. No Joe. It's just going to be us. Well, guys, Pete, how was your week off?
It wasn't too bad. We had a soccer playoff game that we won, so thankfully I missed the show when we actually won the game. Had an amazing weekend. Went to the Rams game, which was dope. But I've been kind of sick for like the past 4 days, and myself being sick, I never know when to stop. I'm just like, I'm just going to keep going, and eventually I'll stop being sick. And it really caught up to me after the Rams game Sunday night. So my voice is a little scraggly if you're wondering what's going on. But otherwise, dude, I'm doing great, man. We had a great weekend of college football, and I'm looking forward to this next one.
Love it. Also out of town this week. I was in Orlando, but didn't let that stop me. I was out there still podcasting, but it was good to be back in the old place where I went to college. And Russ and I were in the same state for the first time in a while. Well, technically, Russ, you were visiting, so that's not true.
We were at Hennessy's.
Yeah, that's right. And we were drinking, so that's why I forgot. But now we're going to dive right into the news here.
Joe was doing a lot more than us that night, dude.
Yes, thankfully we got home safe. Be sure to never drink and drive, kids. So, jumping right into the news here. We kind of touched on this last week, but I don't think we hyped it up enough because the PAC is back, baby. The Pac-12 is rebuilding with Fresno State, Boise State, San Diego State, Colorado State, and now the newest one, Utah State. The Pac-12 did file a lawsuit, as reported today by Brett McMurphy at Action Sports Network, that they're filing a lawsuit against the Mountain West because the new incoming schools, according to the Mountain West, are having to pay a $50 million poaching penalty to the Mountain West to get out. Now, this is not the $17 million exit fee. This would be something separate. So, guys, let me hear from you. Is that even constitutional?
I don't know if it's in their contract. I mean, it's a little outrageous, but they can do whatever the hell they want. If it's in their contract, go for it. Sue them all you want. I don't care. I mean, I get that they obviously feel like they have a claim. $50 million seems a lot, but we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, it looks like just doing some reading on it before the show, it said that there's some type of scheduling alliance where there's some type of literature based on that. They're basically trying to argue that, saying, hey, like, it's not an antitrust thing, basically because we only had two teams. Like, we're not just poaching them just to poach them. We're poaching them to survive, type of thing. I don't really know. It says that the Pac-12 is probably going to pay it, so the schools, I think, will be all right. So if you're the Pac-12 and you want to continue to exist and get some big-time TV money behind you, you're probably going to have to pay it, and it is what it is. But good for the Pac-12, man. It's great to not have that conference die off, especially with how good it was last season. And, obviously these aren't the same type of teams you normally see in it, but I do like they're all West Coast teams. It's not like they're taking some team from the Southeast or some team from the Big Ten. All West Coast teams, easy travel, and I love it. So, I'm excited about it. And it doesn't matter the money. You always figure that stuff out. As long as they get the teams, that's the most valuable thing.
I mean,
go ahead, Russ.
I'm a little – I mean, like, I know we're a football show, but, like, you got to start thinking about these – and this goes down to, like, other sports and other conferences, too. You got to think about, like, other sports that I'm like – you see Stanford baseball, Cal baseball. They're going to be traveling all the way to Florida, New Brunswick. I think or New Brunswick's Rutgers, right? I'm pretty sure it's New Brunswick.
It's Piscataway technically, but yes.
Yeah. But I mean, like, so I mean, you're seeing all these teams that, I mean, I know football is the main moneymaker, but all these other teams that don't have as a large a budget are going to be having to travel across the country. And I mean, like, hey, I'm a baseball guy. Pac-12 baseball has been historically one of the best conferences in college baseball. Half of these teams don't even have a baseball program. Utah State doesn't. Boise State just started. Colorado State doesn't. There's no Division I baseball
And then you've got Oregon State, who's been a dynasty for a long time.
Oregon State's been dominant, but I'm like, so half of them don't. But I mean, I know we just think football is the main moneymaker for a few schools. If we're really getting down to it, not a lot of these schools before the NIL made a lot of money, unless you're a big time school making money like an SEC school. So I'm like, this is great expansion, but what about all the other 25 other sports you have on your athletic department? Do they have the funding to travel all over the place?
No, that's a very good point, both of you. And looking at it, like Pete said, everything is very close. So they're not going to be a Stanford or a Cal traveling to Florida State like Cal just did this year or last week even, or Miami traveling to Cal this week, which is going to be a bitch of a commute. You know that. And that's a conference game. Years ago, now this was probably before I was born or before I was paying attention to it, but I believe that the Dodgers and the Braves were in the same division, or am I thinking the Rams and the Falcons were in the same division or some crazy thing like that before the Rams moved to St. Louis? And that's just insane that even professionals are doing that.
Indianapolis was in the AFC East for a long time.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. No, that's true. And now the Dolphins are in the AFC East and everything else is up north.
I mean, I grew up with playing, having to play Peyton 2 times a year every year. So, whenever they changed. I can't remember.
Yeah, the interesting thing is this: it looks like they were basically pitching. I mean, some of the schools in the ACC and other places didn't leave, or the AAC, Tulane, Memphis, UTSA, and USF all basically told them no to the Pac-12. But the Pac-12 is saying that they're able to clear $12 million a team if those teams join. I guess also the Mountain West TV deal's up in 20 months. So maybe that's why they're trying to capitalize on it. I'm not too sure, but to be honest, I like the Pac-12. It'd be good to have another in the playoff mix, another major conference that potentially gets someone in. So I'm excited about it, man. I mean, like I said, they'll figure out the money. The most important thing is to get the schools. Like if you can get them under contract, and that's the most important thing. You have that deal for like 10 years. They'll make the money back.
Sorry, guys.
Yeah, right.
I got 2 things going on right now. I'm watching the Yankees-Orioles game right now, and they just made it 4-3 on a Soto double, but it would have been 2nd and 3rd with 2 outs with Judge coming up to the plate. So I'm pretty pissed off right now.
So good. Channel that anger.
I know, and it's if they win this game, they clinch the AL East.
Yeah, big game. And then moving down the line here. Unfortunate news to report that LSU's Harold Perkins Jr. is out for the year with a torn ACL. Harold Perkins is one of the premier defenders in college football and one of the key cogs on that LSU defense. He's going to be a high draft pick someday. We're rooting for you, Harold. You're a beast of a player. College football is better with guys like you. Get well soon, my man.
Definitely.
Okay. Now for a recap of last week. Pete, did you want to say something real quick?
No, I was going to say same. It's tough. I mean, it's his last season. Luckily, I guess it happens early enough in the season. He can start rehabbing if he's got to get surgery and all that stuff to be ready for the NFL draft. So I guess there's some good things here. It didn't happen at the very end of the season, although it does take away from his final season. So still sad.
Right. So now going back here to our recap of the last week. Home dogs, not here. Michigan scores late to beat USC 27-24. Alex Orji, the new guy. Yes, that's actually his name. Don't cancel me, YouTube. Alex Orji, 32 yards passing. What? You won a game with 32 yards passing. What is this? Army, Navy, Air Force? And Kalel Mullings had 159 yards on the ground and 2 rushing touchdowns. Meanwhile, for USC, Miller Moss, 283 yards, 3 touchdowns and a pick, and Joquavius Marks, 100 yards rushing on the ground. Well, Pete, tell me, can Michigan salvage their season with this roster right here?
Somewhat. I think somewhat. Obviously, the passing situation freaking sucks. But that defense is still championship caliber, as they kind of showed against USC. And they can run the ball. I mean, what was that final drive that they had, right? Didn't they go like 80 yards or something, like running the ball? And then
It was crazy, like from midfield.
yeah, or whatever it was. And you just thought a team that can't throw it, there's no way they're going to win this game. They're not going to get a touchdown. And they ran it. So I think the run game is huge for them. They have to figure out the passing game, obviously. But damn, I mean, what a way to beat USC. I thought that game was done after USC scored that touchdown. I was like, no, this game's over. So, yeah, I mean, huge statement win for them. Kind of makes up for the previous couple of weeks about how crappy they've played. So I'm definitely excited to kind of see where they go. I think a lot of it has to do with the championship mentality, any leftover guys that they had, the coaching staff, anyone left over. This was a prideful game for them, being in the big house. They didn't want to lose this. And shocking way to win it. I'm shocked that USC didn't figure out a way to overcome it. But, yeah, I mean, good for Michigan, man. Happy for them. That was a good win. I did not expect it at all. I thought USC was going to roll them.
As did we. I don't think any of us picked Michigan last week, right, Russ?
Yeah, I mean, I was surprised. I mean, you have the guy who's can't really complete a pass. Why don't you just? I mean, the run's coming, and they just got gashed on that running game, and they could not stop that two-headed monster they got. Mostly the other guy, but Donovan Edwards is a beast too. So I was surprised. I mean, it was a great game, but I mean, to think that he only goes for 32 yards, just stack the box and make that quarterback beat you.
Those are Riley Leonard type numbers from Notre Dame right there.
I know. And we'll get to that in a minute. Going down here. Hey, Arnold, sit down. Sooners cornerback is benched in a 25-15 loss to Tennessee. Jackson Arnold, the man in question, threw for 54 yards and a pick, and also was tackled for a safety before being pulled for Michael Hawkins Jr., who finished the game with 132 yards and a score. Nico, I'm going to attempt it. Iama Liava. How'd I do?
I think
Anybody?
It's wrong, but I'm not going to try. I think you say it
good to me.
but it's such a hard name that no one's going to fault you for getting it wrong, because I sure as hell wouldn't get it right. I've been trying to practice. I've been listening, and I'm like, I thought I had it, and then I just forgot about it. So I'm like,
just wait until Noah Kanega gets to college football next year. But back to this over here. Our boy Nico had 194 yards and a touchdown on the road here. So the question is, Tennessee looks very good. When are they going to lose their first game, Russ?
I don't know. I got to look at their schedule. I mean, they're looking solid, and you're getting the one thing from a Josh Heupel team we haven't really we haven't ever saw, which is they have a solid defense.
Yeah,
the defense is definitely doing the job, holding Oklahoma to 15 points, even though Jackson Arnold struggled. That's still pretty impressive to hold them to 15 in Norman in your first SEC game. I mean, they got Florida on the
12th.
On the 12th, and then they got Alabama on the 19th.
Both home games.
Yeah,
it is a home game. On the 16th of November.
It is in Knoxville and Neyland Stadium, so that is a big advantage. The last time they played in Neyland, they did beat Alabama. But I mean, I don't see them losing to Arkansas or Florida. So I mean, Alabama should be a great game. That offense looks good. The defense, which I mean, we haven't really seen this from Heupel. The defense that a Heupel team, that defense looks solid, and they got some solid players on that front seven.
I mean, even when he was our coach, the defense would struggle the whole first half. And then Randy Shannon, our defensive coordinator at the time, would come in at halftime, make some crazy adjustment, and we'd somehow win the game. I don't think Randy Shannon is there with him at Tennessee. So whoever is the D coordinator in Tennessee is doing a great job. I agree. Now, looking at this, it looks like, according to a couple of reports, Brett McMurphy being one of them, Michael Hawkins Jr. will start this week for Oklahoma. Let me check who Oklahoma's got this week. But, Pete, are you shocked at this change at quarterback, and how many games do you think Oklahoma could win in this season, their first season in the SEC?
I'm not necessarily shocked by the change. You're playing in big boy football territory, and you got to win games. And he was not playing good enough to win. I mean, say what you want, a home game at Oklahoma is hard for anyone to win there. And Tennessee came in and took it to them, man. Now, that Tennessee defense is very good, so I could probably see why he struggled, but you're going to have to overcome better teams. I mean, just looking at their schedule didn't get any easier. They still got to go to Auburn. They play number 1 Texas in 2 weeks. Yeah, so granted, it's at home, but you still got to play them. And, I mean, they still got Ole Miss.
At the Cotton Bowl.
Yeah.
Cotton Bowl in Dallas.
Okay. Same thing. So basically, almost a Texas home game. Come on. And you still got to go against Ole Miss, and they play Alabama later this season. Like, dude, and LSU to end it. So they got kind of a gauntlet here. If they don't think they're going to win with him, they got to make a change, I feel like. The same thing with Notre Dame switching from Riley Leonard. I mean, we'll talk about that, whatever. Not saying they're doing it, but I feel the same way. If you're not going to win with this guy and you got all these huge games coming up, you got to make a change, man. Like, you got to do it. So great win for Tennessee. They went in there and punched him in the mouth. And I like that Tennessee team, man. I don't think they're going to lose until they get to Georgia. I think they're going to beat Alabama. That's my feeling, though.
Mm-hmm. And Tennessee's either way is a very fun team to watch. Nico, if he's not going to win the Heisman this year, which he probably won't, next year, the year after, he's absolutely a top contender. And I look forward to seeing him blossom in that offense if he stays at Tennessee, of course. I don't see
Same here, man.
But you never know.
Same here.
Are you for real? The Miami Hurricanes put the beat down on USF. Cam Ward had 404 yards, 3 touchdowns, and a pick. Damian Martinez had 34 yards on the ground and 3 touchdowns. It was so bad, guys, that Cam Ward started calling out the play in front of the defense, saying which way they were going to run the ball. USF's defense is just listening to him, and then they still run and they score on the same play. So here's what I'll say about USF. They've made strides. I think they're where UCF was in the 90s, where they're a sleeping giant that just can't finish these big games. We saw it at Alabama. Now we saw it against Miami. They could have gone into the half down a few points, but then Cam Ward threw a long touchdown to go up even more at the half. And so looking at this, they're not there yet. They're not there yet. Russ, who can stop Miami right now? They don't face another ranked team until they face Louisville on the 12th.
I think my ACC pick is looking better and better. A couple of Yabos on here picked Florida State, which looks like a horrendous pick. The other one picked Clemson, which ain't looking terrible right now, but they're not going to win. So my pick's looking pretty good, but I won't jump on that yet because you still got to beat Louisville at Louisville. But that's the only game I really see that they possibly can lose. I mean, I look at Miami as the overall aspect of college football. I'm forgetting the correct word. Just like the landscape of college football, you're seeing the teams who are right up there in the top 10, top 5, what their type of quarterbacks are, and they're veterans. Quinn Ewers has been around a long time. Jalen Milroe has been around a long time. Carson Beck, a long time. So, I mean, and Cam Ward's definitely been around a long time. So he's definitely
DJ Olugolele.
I mean, it just definitely shows the guy's got the veteran presence. So let's see if he can hold on. But I mean, as of now, that's the only team that I think has a chance to beat Miami. But I mean, Miami did a lot of good work in getting transfers in the offseason. Obviously on the defensive side, they added Damian Martinez from Oregon State. So that offense is rolling. I don't see many losses for Miami, if any.
Yeah, no, Miami's going to win this out. I mean, they're going to go to the ACC championship. We'll probably win that. Cam Ward is a freaking stud, man. Like, dude, best pickup in college football this season. Like, that guy is nasty. Like, and he ended up winning, not just because he's winning here, but not going to the draft. Checked his kind of draft vibes. He's like, you know what? Let me come back. Let me get the bag. Let me just ball out. The dude's like sleepwalking, like moonwalking through the game. He's like, oh, dude, no, I got you. Dude, you want it, bro? I got you. Spin move. I got you, bro. Here, bro. Like, he's just dishing it out, not even trying. Like, the one play, he hikes it, just basically stands there, turns around, fakes it off. He's like, oh, I got you, bro. Like, it's so awesome to watch. He's like moving. Everything is moving in slow motion for him, and it's amazing. Miami is probably, I mean, they're not better than Georgia, but damn it, they're top 5. Like they are easily going to a top team to beat come this playoff season because they're going to go through this thing unless they have a trap game against Georgia Tech or Florida State or something. I don't see that happening. I think they're going to win outright and win the ACC. So yeah, my pick originally at the beginning of the season sucks, but whatever, can't win them all.
No, I agree. He's looking like Nikola Jokic out there in a way where he just stands there. Literally. He's not moving. He's like, I'm so bored of this. He just throws the ball because he's figured the game out and he's broken the game.
Literally. He's like the kid on every team that you played on in high school or college that was just like immaculate in everything. And he made it look so easy. And you're like, man, how's that guy just do it so easily? And he's doing it at the highest level. It's crazy. So good for him, man. And also I like how the landscape of Florida football has changed in one season. Now it's Miami, and you can see Miami dominating recruiting for the next couple of years based on how they're playing this year because Florida sucks. Florida State sucks. So, like, you still got UCF, obviously. They're probably the second best school in Florida.
Yeah, we've got a big test.
It was the 80s and the early 2000s.
Hell yeah, man. Good for them.
Most impressive team of the week. Russ, who was yours? Let me hear you first.
Let me look. I mean, I like that Illinois win.
Yeah, that was so good.
Obviously, you got to go Oklahoma. I mean, look, Tennessee beating Oklahoma. That's impressive, just being the first SEC game. I mean, not their first. Excuse me. But first SEC matchup of the year. You go into Norman, you get that win. But that Illinois win was solid. I was for me, I kind of just seen that. Dylan Raiola was definitely showing his true, he's human. He is a freshman because he was making some radical decisions in the second half and definitely cost his team the win. But he definitely showed I'm like, oh, this guy is a freshman. He is only 18, 19. But that's a solid I mean, Tennessee's right up there, but beating Nebraska in Lincoln is a whole other ball game because they're at 400 straight sellouts. I don't know how long that goes back, but that's got to be at least two decades of straight, if not more, of straight sellouts. So beating a team in Lincoln and how Matt Rule's got that team going and them believing, that's a solid win for was it Bielema?
Yeah, Brett Bielema.
So I mean that's very impressive. I think Illinois. I mean, I think we all kind of assumed Tennessee was going to win that game. They're just the better team, and Oklahoma's on the rebuild.
Oh, I love it, Pete. Who was your most impressive?
I was going to say Illinois because I think I texted you guys in the group chat saying, "Watch out for Illinois, Russ. Watch out for this." But I've been kind of on them for a little bit, noticing how they've been playing. Brett Bielema, just kind of like the NIU coach. Their defenses are staying there a long time. Number of years. So their defenses are very good. But I'm going to go a little opposite, maybe not as exciting of a game, but the fact that Utah was able to stave off Oklahoma State, I thought was huge because I think Utah is going to win the Big 12. So I'm going to say that one. But outside of that, just the game-winning touchdown by Colorado, pretty crazy, man. So that's hard not to take that one just for the final play of the game.
I mean, I just said go Big Red. I grew up rooting for Nebraska. I mean, I still replay the reverse against Oklahoma for the Eric Crouch touchdown.
Oh, totally. Oh, yeah.
Against Oklahoma. I mean, that was a team I don't like UCLA. I hated USC as a kid. I love Nebraska football. So, and it's always been a dream of mine to go to a game in Lincoln.
I think that would be dope, especially with mini Patrick Mahomes playing there.
Hey, 15 is because of Tim Tebow. Remember that.
Hey, did you see that his younger brother basically is also committing there, and his younger brother looks just like Patrick Mahomes' younger brother, which is crazy.
Jackson Mahomes.
Yeah, it's like, geez, is the whole family copying it? What's going on, man?
Cloning is real, people. Cloning is real.
Yeah, it is straight up, man.
My most impressive of the week is going to be a little outside the box, unorthodox. But how about JMU? James Madison goes on the road to a not very good North Carolina team. I'll give him that. But still, they're new to the FBS. We all knew they were a great program. But to go on the road against Mac Brown, one of the most legendary coaches still coaching today, and drop 70 on them and keep turning the ball over from them, getting the ball back and scoring right before the half, hanging 50 before the half. That was insane. That major props to JMU for that big performance there.
Yeah, that was a definitely big win. And I mean, I know North Carolina, you lose your quarterback Max Johnson, but I mean, that's still an ACC big win. A little trivia for you guys if you want to answer. Who is the remaining 3 coaches in college football with the national title?
Oh, that's easy. There's Mac Brown, there's Dabo, and then Kirby.
There you go.
There you go. Good one, Justin. I was going to answer, but I figure I'd let Justin take that one,
Thanks, Pete. Some other big wins that happened over the weekend. BYU beat Kansas State in every which way, 38-9, despite being outgained by over 100 yards. SMU beats down on their rival TCU in the final battle of the Iron Skillet, 66-42. It makes our win against TCU not look great, I know. And of course, Shedeur throws the Hail Mary to tie the game at the end. And then Travis Hunter in overtime knocks the ball free at the game line with the goal line, the game on the line. Colorado wins. While they're still confirming the play, the students are already rushing the field. I thought that was hilarious to listen to. What are they going to do if they roll the other way and the game's still going? It'll be like the Michael Crabtree catch when the game wasn't over and everybody Texas Tech rushed the field.
Classic.
And then over here, Clemson rocks the PAC, 59-35 over NC State. Maybe Clemson's got one more run in them. Let's see. And how about Navy? Navy wins a shootout versus Memphis, 56-44, 1 week after the Tigers win in Tallahassee. I'll tell you, that quarterback actually threw, I think, for 3 touchdowns at Navy.
That was a good one. Because I think I had picked earlier in the season Memphis to kind of be like my wild card or the Big Five, whatever the outside. Yeah. So that was a big win for them to go in there and beat them. So not good for my pick, but good for Navy.
That's right. Well, remember, this is now a 12-team playoff, and anybody really is in
Justin's probably – honestly, Justin picked Liberty, which is probably like the easiest pick because their schedule is abysmal. So they'll probably end up getting that undefeated, was it non-top 4 spot?
Non-power 5, as in –
I mean, their schedule is so bad that, I mean – and definitely having their quarterback back, I don't see them losing.
We're going to move right along here into the parlay picks of the week here, starting with the place that I was at just a week ago, Colorado at UCF. Primetime big noon kickoff coming to Orlando, baby. UCF is a 14-point favorite at home. I'm even shocked it's that high. 62.5 over under. UCF minus 500 money line. Colorado plus 380. Starting with Pete.
So I think UCF is not going to cover. I think they're probably going to win by maybe a touchdown. I think the emotional win that Colorado just had, and then traveling all the way down to Florida, I just think it's going to be a lot to kind of come out and try to dominate UCF. I think UCF is the better team. So for that reason alone, I think it's going to be a great game, though. I think I'm going to take UCF money line. I'm going to take what was the over-under here? Let's see. Over-under is 62.5. That's a lot of points, man. I think I'm going to take the under. But I'm going to take Colorado to cover the 14 points.
I'll go last here. Russ, go ahead.
All right, so I'm going to go – I'm with Pete. I'm going 14 points. Colorado's going to cover. I'm taking UCF, and I know all the people in Florida, and Justin should know this too because he's from Florida and lived in Florida. Taking the under. We're getting a hurricane or a tropical storm this weekend, depending where you are. So all my people in Florida, you know what that means. Get your beer, get your alcohol, start drinking.
And I'll jump in here real quick. I agree. This is a pretty big spread here. I know Colorado has maybe the worst rush defense in the Power 4. So for that reason, I do think that it's going to be high scoring. So I'm going to take the over. Shedeur can still sling it. Travis Hunter is still a beast on both sides of the rock. But I don't think UCF is going to cover. So give me Colorado to cover. I'm going to take the over, and I'm going to go UCF money line. We're going to win. Coming up next.
It's going to be sloppy, Justin. It's going to be sloppy. I mean,
it's supposed to miss Orlando. I saw the path.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Come on. I've only lived here a year. You've lived in Florida. How many years you know this thing flip like this? Come on, Jeff.
The day up, it'll change directions.
Yeah, you can't predict things. It's crazy.
Now, look, when I lived in Florida, I was lucky enough that we didn't get a hurricane a single time. All 4 years that I lived there.
Miami or when you were in Orlando?
No, I never lived in Miami. I lived in Orlando.
But you were born in Miami, or
no, Texas. I was born in Virginia.
Virginia. I lied.
Russ, you're making me give all my personal information out on the internet. Jeez.
Wow, dude. Wow. Yeah. Come on, dude. Hackers are watching this, bro.
We're recording. You can cut and
yeah.
Oh, moving right along here. Louisville at Notre Dame. I know this is a big one for Pete, so I'm going to start here. I have a difficult time still trusting Riley Leonard throwing the rock. Louisville is no pushover team. They're going to come in there upset-minded. They got him at Louisville last year. I don't think they're going to get him this year. Marcus Freeman's learned, and he's going to learn from that and move on to the W this time. So Notre Dame is going to win by a touchdown. I'm going to take the under and Notre Dame money line. Russ?
Yeah, so I'm going to take Louisville to cover. I'm going to take Notre Dame with the win. And I'm going to go the under. And, if there's any ladies listening, Justin's number is 310. I'll let you throw that out. Give him a call. Hermosa Beach, California. The guy's living the life.
Well, now you're going to put my information out there for good, huh?
Yeah.
Petey, go ahead.
Our quarterback can't throw to save his grandmother's life if her life was on the line. Literally, that's how bad he is. But for some reason, I think they're going to figure it out this week. So I'm taking Notre Dame big. Notre Dame's going to win by 14 plus, going to hit the over. I think it's probably going to be like a 34-20 game. And I'm taking Notre Dame money line. And you know what? If I'm wrong, we got to bench that son of a gun and put our backup in because our backup can drop dimes over the defense, bro. So part of me hopes I'm wrong and it's a close game and it's a low-scoring game and he plays like crap. But I think we're going to go out there and beat the shit out of them. So I'm taking Notre Dame big.
Spend that money, Notre Dame. Throw it right down the drain. Down the drain.
Now, normally we wouldn't pay too much attention to these two teams in the Big Ten, but Indiana is undefeated, and they're playing Maryland at home here. They are my new favorite darling team that I'm watching just because it's been a long time since they could score like this and that they've been undefeated at this point in the year. Maryland and Indiana. Indiana is a 7-point favorite at home, 55.5 over-under. The Hoosiers are a minus 240 money line, 245 money line, excuse me. Maryland plus 200. Russ, go ahead.
Yeah. So I'll kick it off with I'm going to go Indiana to cover. Whatever, I'll go the over. It's going to be the under. I bet a little this week, and I didn't do so well, and I hit the over on that Texas-Oklahoma game, and I would have won my bet if I didn't hit the over. And I look back, and I'm like, wow, stupid call. So let's go the under. 55 is a lot, and Indiana obviously going to win. Stay undefeated.
Yeah, I think Indiana's going to get this done. I think 7 points. I think the hype train on Indiana is kind of real here. So I think Indiana's probably going to win by 2 touchdowns. The over-under at 56 or 55.5. I think it could be like a 30-20 game, similar to or 34-20, which would be under technically. So I'm going to go under on it. But obviously Indiana money line. I just don't think Maryland's good enough going on the road to Bloomington. I know the kid stepping in for Tua's brother or cousin or whatever they are, however they're related. He's not doing too bad. I mean, he's completed 75% of his passes. He's got, 1,200 yards so far. So he's playing good. But I just think the Indiana hype train's real. So I'm taking Indiana, I guess big, which means doubling the spread. So that's where I'm at with it.
Yep, good picks, although I'm going to go a bit different here. I'm going to take Indiana to cover, and I don't think it's going to be close. I do think they'll win by 2 or 3 scores. It's going to hit the over because Maryland is going to find a way to score. If you remember the old days of Maryland, they would score 70 points a game in the first couple games of the year, and then they would just sputter out of control. I don't know if they find that spark again in the fourth game of the year, but there's always the chance of that. But Indiana is just on too much of a roll right now. They went to the Rose Bowl and destroyed UCLA. Now, UCLA is not the best team. We know that, but neither is Maryland. So I don't see this train slowing down. Kirk Cinetti, Coach of the Year, baby.
Hell
and
yeah.
Now for our game of the week. I know we've been waiting for this one for quite a while. Georgia at Alabama. Georgia is a road favorite here at Bryant-Denny Stadium, -2. The over-under is 48.5. UGA -130 money line on the road. Bama +110 at home. This is not typical for a Bama team. What do you think, Pete?
You know, this game is so hard to pick for me. They are both amazing teams, amazing coaches. But I'm just looking at this like, who do I trust more? I trust Kirby Smart. He's not going up against Nick Saban. So I think Georgia going to come out and kind of beat the shit out of them a little bit. It might end up being close because Milroe is so good. I mean, he could turn something on a dime. He could, he could keep the game close, I think. But I think Georgia's going to go into there and beat the crap out of them, mainly because I trust Kirby. So because of that, even though it is in Alabama, I'm going to take Georgia to easily cover the 2. I think they're going to win by probably 2 touchdowns or more. I think it's going to hit the over, and obviously Georgia money line. I just trust him more. That's all. They've been there. He's won a couple championships. Kalen DeBoer is great, but I think this is a statement game for Georgia to go in there and beat the crap out of them. And if they don't, it's really a statement game for Alabama to show everyone, hey, we might still be the same old Alabama.
And that's where I go not so fast, my friend, because we've seen Kalen DeBoer in the regular season, and he wins big every time. We saw it at Washington last year with a real good team that he built. Now, Saban is the architect of this current Bama roster for the most part. Jalen Milroe, still a star. He learned how to throw last year, and he's just been really good slinging that in tough positions, especially against big-name teams. He did beat Georgia last year in a neutral site. I think they'll find a way to do it again. So give me Bama at home to cover, to win. And I'm going to go with the under here because Bama is up against a really good defense, but they're just going to find that one extra play to make it happen, just like he did last year at Washington against Oregon and the bigger teams. Ross, your thoughts?
Yeah, Justin, I'm kind of with you. Obviously, I picked UGA. I think they're going to win it all. I think it's going to be a great game. I'm super stoked for it. I mean, I'm going to be probably inside all week anyways. Like every college football Saturday, I might have to get up and throw my trash out because I'll be sitting on the couch so much. And I'm not going to the bars because they're right by the water. So, we're going to get some strong surge. So you don't want to be down there. So I'll be sitting on the couch. I might have to walk up and take the trash out just to move my legs. I'll be glued on the couch. I kind of am with you, Justin. I think Bama's going to cover. I think Bama's going to win. I'm going to take the over. I believe in Kalen DeBoer. Obviously, this guy, his resume is super long, but it's from a guy who went from the bottom, from NAIA, and now he's at the top of the top. I love Kalen DeBoer. Obviously, he was my coach of the year last year. I think there'll be lots of points. You've seen that Alabama team; they can put up points quick. I mean, I don't know. I got to see it from Georgia, even though Georgia's been so great so long. I got to see this offense do it before, I believe, because, I mean, what we saw in that Kentucky game, Carson Beck did not look solid. So I'm rolling with DeBoer. I'm rolling with Milroe. And it's in Tuscaloosa. So I think Bama's going to roll. So was it roll Tide?
Yeah, I would agree with you guys. I think last week Kentucky or Georgia was overlooking Kentucky. That's my whole thought process.
2 weeks ago.
Yeah, but right? Whatever the heck it was. Yeah, they were just.
We give him a pass because he didn't show.
Yeah,
last week.
Right.
Yeah, they were just overlooking them, and then you got a bye week before you play Alabama. So to me, that was not out of the realm of how that game went. Like they still should have beat the shit out of them. But it's not out of the realm of, okay, they're focusing on Alabama type of vibe. So you guys are wrong. I'm going to be right. Book it. Screenshot that. Record it.
And real quickly before we move on, Joe, no-show Joe's picks. Colorado, UCF, he's got Colorado covering the over and UCF money line. Louisville, Notre Dame. He put in parentheses here, if Notre Dame cannot throw the ball, they will lose. So he took Louisville money line, the over, and Louisville plus 66.5. Oh, all right, Joe. All right. Maryland and Indiana, he took Indiana cover. He's taking the over and the Indiana money line. And with Georgia, Bama, he's with UP. We're split down the middle here. UJ covering at -2, taking the under, and then money line Georgia. Okay, the Notre Dame guys are rolling with the Bulldogs. Let's see who's right.
Row.
Upset cover and other games we're watching this week. Well, Joe here has got UL Monroe covering in a +7 upset over the Troy Trojans, or Washington State upsetting Boise State +7.5. Future conference rivals right there. All right, Joe. For me, I've got Illinois and Penn State. Illinois is a +18 underdog. Now, we know Penn State can score, but it's also a very tough defense in Illinois that Brett Bielema's got over there. Give me the Fighting Illini to cover that. That's a huge spread right there. I'll also be watching that Washington State and Boise State game because that's going to be one where points are put up like nothing else. Russ, you got a favorite here?
Yeah, so I'm going to go Wisconsin to cover against USC. I think it's going to be a gritty game. Welcome to the Big Ten. Gritty defensive performance, but I mean, what is it, 15.5? So I think they cover. I think SC probably ends up pulling it out, but I think Wisconsin will cover. Yeah, games I'm watching. Obviously, Arizona, Utah. I was gonna call that, but I'm gonna jinx myself. Arizona. I'm gonna probably Arizona's gonna get their ass kicked because if I say that, they'll probably win because every time I so. They'll probably get worked. So, but I'm watching that game. I mean, who shouldn't be watching Georgia, Alabama? And yeah, I'm with you, Justin. That Washington State, Boise State game. That's a future 2 conference, Pac-12 game. Boise State, let's get real, should be the top dog in that conference. They've been, beaten up. Probably one of the best non-Power 5 teams in the last 20 years. So I'm pretty excited for that game. I was going to go Illinois, but I saw you went that one too because, 18.5 is a lot of points. And, Justin, you might have gone away from overreaction, Justin, to cover Justin this year because you love them covers.
I'm just playing it safe here, it seems, and I'm not taking enough risks. So maybe I do need to get back to overreaction, Justin. That made for better TV, right? Pete, go ahead.
Yeah, that's why you get the viewers.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, I got 2 covers I think that are going to happen. I think somehow Mississippi State's going to cover the basically 40 points that the line's going off against Texas right now. And then I think that Stanford's going to cover the 20.5 against Clemson. I'm not sure Stanford's travel schedule, if they ended up flying back to the West Coast after playing Syracuse or if they've just stayed on the East Coast. I would hope they just stay over there and then they can kind of just all week practice in that time zone somehow. I'm not sure what the deal is, but I think those are my 2 covers just because the point spread is so high, and I think both teams can cover it. Money line wise, I think that Houston is going to beat Iowa State at home. They're 11-point dog at home, and I think that Iowa they're good, but I don't think that they're an 11-point favorite. So I think Houston's going to outright beat Iowa State at home.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, do we get to pick 3 games when our upset and cover? I didn't know the rules changed. Do I get to pick?
Well, I said I had 2 upsets just because I think that they're both.
So we get 2. So I can go
my bad.
And I still win.
Two covers, but okay. Because of that, I will take Stanford covering 20.5 against Clemson. I'm not going to take the Mississippi
Cardinals again, Pete. I see it.
Okay.
So.
ISU at Houston, that's a bold one. Iowa State does look pretty good. They can run the ball. Houston, they are very hit or miss. They just got shut out by Cincinnati last week.
They're going to hit this week, though. That Texas heat, end of summer heat, it's going to get to Iowa State.
Those corn boys.
Yeah, it doesn't get hot in Iowa at all.
Well, it does, but come on, it's not the same type of Iowa. It's not the same type of Galveston, Texas heat right there, son. A little water heat, son.
They're both dry.
No. Houston is humid as F, dude. Like, it is not dry down there.
And don't I know that better than anybody else on this podcast?
Yeah, Justin knows.
Checking in on the Heisman race, is Cam Ward the front runner now?
Yes.
Yes. Yeah. Definitely.
Yeah. I mean, he
A
is.
resounding
Now,
yes.
If your boy
no
Milroe,
conversation.
if Milroe comes out and balls out,
but
Right,
right
if
now,
Milroe-
it's the best.
yeah, he does. Just not only the fact that they're winning and they're winning big, just his whole vibe is just giving like, dude, too school for cool. I don't even have to try, brother. But if Milroe comes out this week and balls out against Georgia, I think he leapfrogs him just simply based on strength of schedule win. So I don't think that's going to happen, but if it does, then I think Milroe hops ahead of him.
That's the one. I know Justin's big on the throwing out the Heisman moments. He loves throwing those out. I don't think Cam Ward, just because of the strength of the ACC, will have that big Heisman moment before getting into the ACC title game or the
Correct.
playoff, which they don't use because the ACC is so weak. Where Milroe or whenever Ewers comes back, will have those opportunities because, like you said, the strength schedule is just so much better.
Yeah.
And remember, too, that Jackson Dart, Ole Miss, is still sitting right there putting up video game numbers.
They're kind of keeping quiet. No one's really talking about them.
I'm with them. I mean, Ole Miss is kind of, the team that
under the radar
really talks about. They're kind of, they're what, number 6 right now, and they're
dude. That's why I originally said they were my
but they're just that.
Well, everyone's sleeping on them. Come on.
Lane will find a way to lose one of these games.
Shut up. No.
And coming up here next, we have, is Nico a legitimate contender this year for the Heisman? Is he ready for that moment?
I mean, if he gets some quality wins, if he beats Alabama and Neyland this week, or in a couple weeks.
This week.
Yeah, this week is Georgia. In a couple weeks, on the 19th, that's
Georgia's down the line. Alabama's got Georgia. You're right.
Alabama, but they got the 19th. They got Bama in Neyland. So, I mean, that's like you said, Justin. If he has a big game there, those are Heisman moments, Heisman plays. So I could see it. But he's what? He's only a sophomore, true sophomore. So I think next year is probably a better bet.
Same here. I'm the same with Russ on that one. If he wins those and like balls out, especially against Milroe and stuff, that changes the whole vibe of things. But I still think if Milroe loses to them and somehow Alabama, whoever has just more highlights is going to win it. And I think Milroe is probably going to end up higher than that. And same thing with Cam Ward.
Here comes Travis Hunter dominating all over the field for Colorado. Maybe the all-around best player in college football. I would say yes, he is.
I don't think it's a maybe. I think he
totally is
the overall best player in college. I mean, this guy plays how many plays a game? He's doing it on both sides.
Every single one.
I mean, he takes special teams off. So I mean,
besides Shadur, he's the only other good player. He plays both sides and makes every damn winning play.
To be a top, I would say top. Let's be safe. Top 5 draft pick at either side of the ball next year.
That's why my Cowboys are tanking right now. We're going to get them, bro.
Yeah, no quarterback, but, that defense, the defense looks like shit.
Well, it's what happens when your offense can't score any points and crap, dude.
Offense can't score, but you still give up 42 points against the Saints.
I know, but the offense just always goes 3 and out. Come on, dude.
Offense.
You saw the offense, you give the highest paid contract in the history of the NFL to your quarterback. He's got to win these games, bro. Okay, let's move on from that. I don't want to talk Cowboys. All right, come on.
We need to talk Jets football, baby. Aaron Rodgers.
No, shut up.
The last one we're going to check on.
You give it to me. I've had a lot of years of pain and suffering, all right?
Okay, we'll give it to you. Aaron Rodgers does look good.
He does look good.
I'm not jumping the gun. 1 week.
As long as he's popping the Percocet, he's balling. Perk Rodgers, baby. Watch out, son,
Hey. There's nothing in the rules said you can't pop a Percocet before the game.
That's true.
Well, ayahuasca, nothing in the rules.
Just go sit in the darkness, man. Just go sit in the darkness. It'll solve everything. Last one we're going to check on here is Ashton Jeanty, who keeps on churning for Boise State. He had 127 yards and 11 carries against Portland State. Didn't have a touchdown this week, so that might hurt him. I know as far as running backs go, I do think he's neck and neck with R.J. Harvey of UCF. Their stats are very, very close. And R.J. Harvey had off 1 week. Ashton Genie had off 1 week. But they're both playing this week. And so this will really show a big test because with Colorado coming in, Boise State has got – who are they playing this week?
Washington State this week.
Washington State, yep. They've both got big tests this week. So I'll be very interested to see that this race is going on. Now, if all the quarterbacks somehow falter, this could be a very much more exciting running back race, but that's not going to happen. So before we go into our wrap-up here, let's check on the temperature. How we doing? All right. Russ, you want to lead this segment again?
Oh, yeah. I'll take this. This is going to be mine. So we're going temp check on some coaches, boys. I'm gonna throw them out. We're gonna go. I'll throw a question here or there. Pete, we're gonna kick to you. We got low temperature. Who do you think's a little lower? Hugh Freeze at Auburn, or Brett Pry at Tech? Is their seat warming up a little bit? What's your opinion on that?
That's Virginia Tech for those wondering.
What did I say?
Yeah,
you just said Tech.
Oh well, it is Tech.
I think mainly Freeze, just because they haven't really done much in the past couple of years, and also like their schedule upcoming is like not going to be easy, man. Like they still got Georgia in a couple of weeks. Grant, they're at home. I said that Oklahoma. I think we talked about that. Probably going to lose it to Auburn at home, but yeah, they got Georgia, Alabama, Texas A&M, Missouri on there, Kentucky, who almost beat Georgia. Yeah, I think it's Hugh Freeze between the two of them. But I don't know. He's been there a number of years. Do they want to move off of him? Do they? I don't know what the vibe of the fan base is down there, but Auburn football, it's great when they're really good, and they're not really good. So if it was me, he'd be slightly warmer on the hot seat.
Justin?
Brent Pry is warmer on this list because his team was expected to contend at least in the ACC. So far, they've lost very bad games to Rutgers and Vanderbilt. And when you lose to Vanderbilt first game of the year, that's never a good tone setter. And on top of that, with Hugh Freeze, I will say this. Yeah, they don't have a lot of talent. He's trying to rebuild it. But at the same time, remember how quickly they yanked Brian Harsin out of that seat at Auburn. Those boosters
That's
are
true.
Not happy. They don't get satisfied unless you're winning. This is the SEC. You're still having to keep up with your arch rival Alabama across the state, even though Saban is gone. You still got to keep up with Kirby Smart at Georgia. Now you got to keep up with Sark at Texas. It's not getting any easier. And if you want to keep up with those guys, you've got to get the right guy in. Hugh Freeze has not done that yet at Auburn in a year. And if they're anything like they were with Brian Harsin, those boosters, they'll start complaining. They're going to start barking. Not to mention they lost to Cal this year. Cal, who's a 50-50 type team right now, who just lost to Florida State, by the way.
Yeah, I mean, I'm both very good statements. I think Hugh Freeze maybe start, incentivizing his players, call up some of those call girls to get his players stoked for the game on Saturday.
Come on, dude. Hell yeah.
But you lose to Vanderbilt. Virginia Tech definitely had some high hopes this year, so it's definitely a bad loss. Anytime you lose to Vanderbilt, if it's not named not named baseball, it's usually a bad loss. I'm going to go a little different here. Obviously, we got David Arnetta at Baylor, but we spoke a little earlier. Seat getting warmer. All-time great national champ Mac Brown. Do you think, Justin? I'm going to go to you first. Being a guy from Texas, do you think it is time for Mac Brown to hang him up?
Yes, it is 100% time for him to hang it up. You see JMU come into your stadium and drop 70 on you, 50 in the first half. I know you don't have your quarterback, but still, you've got to expect that your other guy can do the job, get the job done. Yeah, you didn't win the championship when Garrett Gilbert had come in for Colt McCoy, but he still kept it competitive. They didn't get blown out by Alabama. They kept it close for most of the game. What happened to that Mac Brown? Obviously, that was a long time ago. He's gotten older. He left Texas for a reason. The boosters basically chased him out, said, you're not good enough anymore. Now we're getting to that point in North Carolina. I just think it's time. He's the oldest guy coaching.
Yeah,
right
well,
now.
Pete, I'm gonna go a little different route with you. Let's go a little
Sure.
history.
Sure.
Do you think Texas beats Alabama in that national title game if Colt McCoy doesn't get knocked out?
I do think that they beat them. Yeah,
Yeah. But all
I
right.
do.
See,
I mean, it was a good win for Alabama, but I think if he doesn't get absolutely, I think Texas wins that game.
Now, do you think it's time for Mac Brown to, maybe just call it quits, hang it up? Great, unbelievable career. I mean, don't get me wrong.
Yeah, I think so because that loss to JMU right now. JMU is a good team, but that's like a program-ending loss, dude. Like you can't get beat like that at home. You just can't do it. Him being the oldest guy and how much college football has shifted here. I mean, Saban's out. You got all these guys leaving. You got other guys on the cusp of probably not being able to compete with the transfer portal and all this new stuff. So, yeah, I think it's probably time to go, Saranara, whatever I can't say it, amazing career. And just move on, maybe go to ESPN, do some commentating, something like that. I mean, go live your life, dude. You're 70, move on.
Yeah, I'm kind of with both of you guys on this statement. I think it's time for Mac Brown just to retire. Obviously, this guy orchestrated, if not the greatest college football national title game we ever won, quote unquote. If it's not in the record books, it's still probably the greatest game we've ever seen in 2006.
Oh yeah,
at the Rose Bowl, beating that dynasty that Pete Carroll set up at USC. So Mac Brown, great. Unbelievable career, Hall of Famer, but I think the game's just starting. It's like Pete said, the NIL, it's just starting to overpass him a little bit, so it might be time to hang it up. Now, I've been thinking about this one for a little bit. Obviously, Sam Pittman, his seat's warming up. Anybody want to say anything on Sam Pittman?
I'm just thinking with Sam Pittman, I left him there on that list because do you expect a guy like this to win in the SEC if you've seen what he is now for the past 3-4 years? And the answer to that is no. I don't think they're going to get anywhere close to contending. So why keep that guy there when you could go after a guy who's going to help you get closer to that SEC championship game? So I think that Sam Pittman's done after this year.
All right. So yeah. We can all agree on this that Billy Napier's his seat's on fire. He's done. Everybody agree on that?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Okay. So I'm going to do a little poll here, jump in when you want. When Billy Napier gets fired, where do we think DJ Lagway ends up? Is it Texas A&M? Is it Georgia? Is it Bama? Is it Texas? Where jump in. Who's throwing him the most money when Napier gets the can?
Miami.
That's a great pick. I was going to say Alabama because Miller is not going to be there forever, and he's got a lot more years to go. He's a dual threat quarterback, and I could see that Kalen DeBoer could turn him into an absolute stud.
And this is a guy who definitely, that'd be a solid one because he's a quarterback whisperer. But you could also see him wanting to go back to Texas. He's from Texas. Go back to his home state. A&M's got their Elko there. He's building something up. We see A&M likes to throw the money around, so money talks, right, Pete?
It does. I will say that Miami is probably going to lose Ward after this year. It's probably going to go to the NFL. If you want to continue this,
7th year.
Well, correct. But if you want to kind of continue your dominance here, they threw the bag at him. Next year, throw the bag at Lagway. He's already in Florida, so it's not that far of a move down to Miami. And Miami got a lot more chicks than College Station, brother, and they're not crazy. All right, so well, no, I'm saying instead of having them go to Texas A&M, yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Go find some chicks.
If you gave me a choice between Liv and Tootsie's on a weekend versus whatever's in College Station, that's what I'm taking, bro. So if I was Miami, I would already be trying to secure him now, tampering, whatever the hell you got to do. Already be working that angle because he's already in Florida. He already left Texas to go to Florida. So who's to say he wants to go back?
As we see with a lot of Miami teams, is they do like to do that illegal tampering.
It's okay.
Professional college, they like to tamper illegally.
It's all chill, bro.
And do you think they tampered to get LeBron there?
Probably. Yeah, they definitely did. They're all talking. Heck yeah.
They tried with a Hall of Fame quarterback in the NFL, and
that's true.
I know. I was
Tom
talking
Brady.
about, you think they did that with LeBron? I don't think they did.
Oh, they probably, but I mean,
But D-Wade talks. He's friends with him.
it's the one thing with LeBron is LeBron's not like that whole lifestyle is not different for LeBron. LeBron's a family man, so like
Yeah.
that, that whole is not going to appeal to him as much as maybe DJ Lagway, who's oh, I got chicks walking around in bikinis on campus every day because it's 95.
South Beach in the summer looks a lot nicer than College Station, son.
That's right. Hey, Russ, great job with this segment, man. Thank you. Thank you. And wrapping it up here with the stat of the week. Service academies, Army and Navy, both undefeated and have relatively soft schedules, sans both playing Notre Dame. If both teams stay the course and get a little help from other Group of 5 teams losing, think about this. The final college football playoff spot for the Group of 5 could come down to December 14th, Army-Navy weekend. Now, how cool would that be, guys?
I mean, it'd be
Crazy.
great. But, I mean, will it ever happen?
I mean, it could. Have you seen these two teams play? They can sling the rock. They can run the rock. They've got some big punishing defense.
That's true. And also, Notre Dame sucks.
Notre Dame does suck. Yeah, they do.
And our cheers for the week. Start with Pete this time.
I got to give it to Michigan, man. As a guy who grew up in Michigan, I'm not a Michigan man, but I lived in Michigan, so maybe I'm a Michigan man. I don't know. Good for them. Good to take it to USC, win an ugly game in the Big House, and USC's first game at the Big House in the Big Ten, and they beat them. And statement win for the season, possibly keeps the coach on track to keep his job, depending on how the season goes, and really kind of changes, I think, the trajectory, at least for the interim, on that program this season. Yeah, huge win, and I think USC is still very good, but this also changes my perception on them, too. So are they overrated? I don't know. But, yeah, huge for Michigan. Happy for the fans. Great win overall. It was just great to see both teams playing at the Big House. Just amazing to see, man. Electric. I can't believe we're going to get this almost every year, obviously every other, depending on what the schedule is. But it's so exciting.
Good for Michigan. Congratulations. Thank you, Pete.
Hell yeah.
Russ.
I'm going to give a cheers to me when I was sitting watching the first half of the SC Michigan game, and I'm just sitting there having my beer, watching the game, and I'm listening to this guy just trashing SC, trashing the PAC. Oh, yeah, Pac-12's garbage. I'd turn around. I'm like, hey, dude, Pac-12 at Oregon last year, they had a team in the championship game. Pac-12, Arizona, Utah, and he shut up quick. So I give a cheers to myself defending the Pac-12, Pac-10, Bill Walton's legacy. Let's go, Conference of Champions.
Hell yeah.
Stand up for that Pac.
Come on. Pat you on the back. Come on.
Mm-hmm. And Joe said, cheers to my parents' 41st wedding anniversary. Cheers to love and proof that anything is possible. Congratulations to the Warnstead. 41 years. That's very impressive.
Hey, Justin, I almost forgot, before you do yours and then sign us off, my twin brother Ed just called me yesterday to tell me that him and his wife are pregnant with their first kid. Ooh. So, yeah.
Congratulations.
First grandkid in either side of the family. So it's going to be, it's awesome. So.
And while you have two, I also have two. First off, shout out, happy birthday to Mario Cristobal, coach of the U. He's had plenty of experience winning national championships with the Canes in the late 80s, and now going all over the country, basically being a coach. Coming back home to Miami, now leading the undefeated Miami Hurricanes with the front runner at the Heisman at quarterback. Happy birthday, Mario. And then my other shout out of the week goes to BYU quarterback Jake Retzlaff, the only Jew on campus making it happen for the Cougars. Let's go. Represent, buddy. Represent.
So random.
BYU has a Jewish quarterback, yes. And meanwhile, Ole Miss is an LDS quarterback in Jackson, North.
Jesus.
Moses.
Good one.
Mm-hmm. And that about does it this week for Touchdown in Paradise here on the Fins Talk Sports Network. I'm Justin.
I'm Russ.
I'm Pete.
And hopefully Joe will be back next week. We'll see you then. Have a good one.
Pete's here next week too.